Yeah, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. When I first got the topic, I was like, we can spend the whole day doing this. But then we were given 30 minutes. And so if you look at the table, I think there are more countries here than there. So what we'll quickly do is just to get a hang of what's happening globally. We'd like each of the panelists to not only just introduce themselves, but also spend a couple of minutes on what's happening in their country as far as the topic is concerned. It's pretty long, so I'm not going to read it out, but it basically talks about how world and organizations are changing, what's becoming important, and what we thought very important yesterday is not as important today, and we have absolutely no clue. I don't know how many of you have seen a film called Bad Moms. I just saw it a couple of days ago. And we have absolutely no clue as to where this is all heading to. So, earlier you could do 5-year plannings. I'm very happy if you can do 5-quarter plannings. So we'll start with Dato. She's from Malaysia. So how things in your country, when you talk about, you look at organizations, you look at shifts, you look at what's burning, and what's your personal experience in dealing with anyone?
Thank you. I'm Sharifah. I'm representing the Institute of Marketing Malaysia. We are a non-profit organization, so we are unlike all of you in this room. Okay? So
I'm also non-profit.
So for me, this is actually my passion. And marketing is all about being different. Okay? Running the institute, we don't have government funding and support. And based on the topic given, is about the millennials, young generation, and all that. Yeah? The role of seniors. So to me, the role of seniors, and of course, with so much excitement and exciting events that's happening, even in Malaysia, there's so much development, there's so much changes. Don't talk about marketing, every other industry. Yeah? So to me, all of us, irrespective, young, middle-aged, or the seniors, we all have a role to play. We all have to be with the trend or with the times. We have to listen. We have to make a difference. So those are some of my thoughts. So every one of us has a role. So the seniors will be the exemplary leadership, will be listening, will be going along with the times. Thank you.
Okay. Sunita, since on the panel we are on the happy side of 30, I guess. Do the younger ones, the millennials, even they kind of acknowledge our existence? Are we like some furniture somewhere lying, need to be sat on for a while and warmed, or how does it go? You're from country?
Well, I'm from Singapore.
Okay.
And I think the fact that we're calling ourselves the seniors is pretty telling.
But I think happiest side of 30.
I'll take that. But I think for us at Spotify, it's been quite interesting being based in Singapore and sort of working on Asia, because we're a Swedish company. And the Swedish way of doing things is incredibly different from essentially the rest of the world. But what we've actually seen at Spotify, we talk about diversity, we talk about LGBT, all of that stuff. But what we're really dealing with is the generation divide, and where we have loads and loads of millennials working at Spotify. I think what the more mature people at Spotify have realized is that we can actually learn quite a lot from the millennials. So it's really about conversations. And then personally, even for me, one thing that kept coming up the first year we were in Singapore was this annual review, where I think a lot of us are really used to it, where once a year we'll sit with our boss and talk about how we're doing and move on. But with the millennials, the team kept telling me that that's something that they feel pretty strongly against. They wanted regular feedback so that when we had that once a year serious talk, we could actually have pretty good output. And I think that was a great takeaway.
Lais is from Brazil. Yes. How many of you have been to Brazil? The rest would love to go. But working in Malaysia, Lais is another thought which I guess Sunita was also going. As a boss, when I had a boss, I don't have one now, but when I had one, those days, and I'm going back maybe 10, 12 years ago, the internet was something that was very restricted in nature. I'm not sure whether the other countries faced it, but at workplace, you were not supposed to be surfing on the web. If you had a computer by any chance, you'd be work-oriented. Those things are over now. If you're going to stop internet on the computer, they have it on their smartphone. So as a leader, how do you think roles are changing? vis-a-vis the newer generation?
Okay, thank you. So my name is Laisa, as they already said. I'm coming from Brazil, specifically this time from the Amazon, which is the furthest I could go. And I'm also seen as Malaysian recently, since I'm building communities of startups in Malaysia. So what I do is dealing with a lot of companies, a lot of VCs, a lot of startups. And when I talk to the large telcos, banks, the biggest challenge I see from them is on giving up power and giving up old structures of power in order to open space for innovation and creativity. We all want the good side of millennials, which is the solution-oriented, focused, creative side of millennials. But few of us are willing to give up on the figure of a boss that we were taught our whole life that we would scale up in the company and then we would be able to delegate tasks and people would do as we say. There's no such thing. Now, being in social media and being able to respond fast is part of your job. You must be on Facebook during work time. But it's hard for many people to accept that change in roles and be a facilitator rather than a boss, and accept that you may be wrong and there was open space for your team to fail. It's a tough job. So I believe what has changed is the role of a leader is not anymore the role of a boss. And for some people who grew up with the expectations to become one, they would be out of place right now, and they would be just more and more frustrated, and they would be blaming millennials that they do not respect authority. But you have nothing to do. We got to deal with them. I'm a millennial, apparently. And the worst would be the Generation Z. So I had a team member who was a prodigy boy, 17 years old, and I promise they're worse. So I think we got to become facilitators rather than bosses.
So if you're looking at the millennials, like if as a boss you see them on Facebook and they tell you that they're working, you really can't do much about it.
That's why I believe, depends on if you're dealing with the production line, where people just have to like knock something the whole day. I don't think anyone is dealing with this kind of job anymore, which is extremely operational, just do as I tell you. We need solution creators, innovators, creativity, because we are dealing with problems that did not exist yesterday, and we don't know how to deal with them. So if you start from you do not trust your team, we are already in trouble. And to build trust, you got to be vulnerable first. It's a long conversation. But the thing I suggest is that millennials, on the best side of us, them, we like to work for a cause. We like to know why we're doing something and work for a vision. If you are able to give it time to build trust, to build a relationship, and to build a project with a purpose with your team, then you trust that regardless of how much time he spends on Facebook, maybe he's going to handle his time and work his best hours, which is midnight to 2 a.m. So it's a lie that we work 9 to 6, and maybe you lose the best of creativity of some people who work from 8 to 1 a.m. So it's about trust. It's not about checking what they're doing. I don't know how we live doing work from 9 to 6 for 50 years, maybe because we were more operational, and now we are more towards creativity. So trying to wrap it up in one thought, I think it's about building trust with your team and building a purpose so that you trust, regardless of how many hours they work, they will be figuring out what you expect from them.